So, good evening guys, and welcome for one last time. It is OTL on a Monday evening for this season. It is round 20, and tonight we head to IMOLA. I think my headset is not crackling. I'm sure the guys will soon say it in the chat if it is, so apologies if it happens at any point. Don't be scared to point it out. So tonight, a couple of things we should get over and done with before we get to what is should be our enjoyable last night of racing. Let's just talk about exactly what's going on in the championship standings. Of course, we know Mike tied up that drivers' championship not so long ago, but when we have a look at the standings, I'm sure there is only 5 points between Williams and Alfa Romeo going into tonight in the constructors' battle, so there is still a lot on the line, as well as I think a big fight for P2 in the championship. Yes, there is. Mr. Rage leads Mikey by 12 points. Mikey and Rage locked in a battle. So a 12-point swing would put Mikey into P2 and Rage into P3. Of course, the 12 points having to be in the favour of Mikey. I think ENTXJ is just out that battle in 265, 25 points adrift. He essentially needs a P2 or better, and Mikey not to finish in the race to get P3 in the championship. But as I said, that the constructors battle, Williams on 584 and Alfa Romeo on 579. 5 points in it. Get into tonight, a lot on the line. Can Mike do the double alongside Rage and bringing home the drivers and the constructors championship for Williams? Red Bull and McLaren also only 20 points in it, which is not a lot in the last race, especially when you get two cars scoring points. So there's 20 points in it for third in the Constructors' Championship as well. So that, of course, is another huge fight between the guys, between Scarlett and Nelly, and, of course, Mikey. And I've got Merco here. I don't know if Merco is here. Is he here this evening? He may not be. Who is in the other Red Bull? Oh, it's going to be Dixie. So Dixie is in the thick of it in the fight in the Red Bull kart. They need to outscore the McLaren boys to try and bring home that Constructors' Champion. Of course, to get P3 in the Constructors' Championship, Pelly driving for McLaren tonight over Nelly. So, McLaren packing a little bit of punch. Another couple of things as well, with it being the last race of the season, the guys have been doing a bit of voting. They've wrote out who they think deserves a special mention, and of course OTL has done this kind of, we could call it an awards thing at the end of the season. It's not really awards, just recognition to those who have done especially well. We have one award that maybe doesn't mean you've done especially well. It's a bit of a shithousery award, but the driver that gets it is most definitely deserved. So we'll start off SPW award this season for the biggest shithousery, crap attitude, very bold driving to say the least. That can only go to one driver when he does turn up, and it is Jamie. So I don't know if it's a well done on that or congratulations, but Jamie takes home the SPW award. Comms, mine and Jensen's driver of the season. It was a tough call. We definitely debated over this over a couple of days, but our driver of the season in the end had to go to Mike. Very consistent. His average finishing position was like 1.3. So yeah, that was quite an easy choice in the end once we spoke out and kind of figured out who had kind of had the best averages. And through that, our most improved driver this season has to go to Mitch. I think Mitch deserves a mention. It's probably his highest scoring season to date. He's got a good solid couple of top 10s finishes where before he maybe struggled even to get close to the top 10. Our donkey of the season has to go to Matoman. The absolute appalling strategy calls, the mismatch, the thinking that Jeff is never right. Well, we've seen how many times that cost him and bit him straight in the backside. So donkey of the season most definitely has to go to Matoman. Our drive of the season, or the driver's drive of the season, goes to Adam. It was a tied between Adam and Mike, but Adam's drive at Monaco I think stands out. That push through to the win, his one and only win of the season, that he didn't let him forget about for a couple of weeks. So Adam deserves a bit of mention for the drive of the season. And our newbie of the season, our new driver that deserves a bit of mention, goes to Rob. I think Rob Wills has had a fairly reasonable season. I think he'd be pretty happy with his first full season on board. Definitely a season that he probably felt he could have done a lot better in throughout, but still nonetheless, good couple of podiums under his belt. Had some great qualifying performances as well, some pole positions. So that is the OTL Awards, I think it is. If I'm wrong, I'd almost say something. But let's see what's going on in the chat. Let me get it back up just quickly, guys, and we'll see who's here when I find it. Where are we at? Oh, we got it. So, sounds normal. Good morning, Mike, Skarma. Good evening, Rob Wills, our newbie of the season. Mike, sounds normal. Thank you. Good evening, Parrot and Mr. Fusion. Good evening, guys. As I said, it is our last race of the season. The guys voted unanimously to make IMOLA our last stop on the calendar, and of course our last race in the OTL League for this year. So hopefully the guys go out and have fun, bearing in mind that there's still guys fighting for things in stakes. So, oh, and there's somebody went round. Fusion had a bit of a moment. There goes the F1 board. Oh, and he's in the wall and he's out of the session. So that'll be Fusion's session over for the minute. Let's see who is our lead man. We've got a cluster of cars here coming through. It's a Williams up ahead. I think that could be Mike. Yes, it is. But Ranger, our first man in that Mercedes car, will stay with him for an onboard lap at Imola into for turn 1 and 2. Nice and tidy. Touch curb turn 3, let it run wide. 4 and 5 comes at you thick and fast, carry a lot of speed into the entry, touch of the brakes, use much more of the curb on the inside there. He's missed his apex by a mile, that's going to cost him a lot of speed. Then up to turn 5, the hairpin, smooth on the pillar as you drag it out. And turn 6 and 7 comes at you thick and fast. There's essentially one corner. Chuck it all over this curb on the inside. Use the curb to rotate the car. Use the exit curb and then stay nice and tight, set yourself up for 8 and 9 up the hill. Very, very tricky corner, rear of the curb. Struggling like absolute mad. Then down into probably trickiest chicane on the track. Use as much of the curb as you dare. The inside curb there, pulling him away from the exit curb. Glow sticks doing bits to get out of the way there. And keep the car nice and left, then pull to the right hand side. Use all of this curb down the hill to open up the last corner and stay on this curb. Then use the inside curb a little bit on the apex to rotate the car, get the power down to the line. DRS will pop open, stay nice and tight to the barrier, and he sets a 1:15.6 as our first lap on the board. We have Mike not far behind, a Red Bull ahead. I think that's a Red Bull on an out lap though. So we'll see Mike, he uses much more of the curbs at the chicane, nice and tidy. Good evening, Adam, it's a pleasure. Everybody that's joined us, and guys, please remember, if you haven't already, do not forget to hit the like button on the stream, and if you haven't subbed to the channel, please do. Fusion are only man out at the moment. Mike, our season 3 champion, comes up to the line. It's going to be a benchmark, it's going to be low 15, 15.2 for Mike. 4 tenths, but it's a 15.0 for Walker just behind him. So Walker setting the benchmark in the first run so far. Some guys not so far behind. Let's see if we can go to, where is Mick? He's on an invalidated run. Where is Kristaps? Kristaps to the line on the soft compound. Where can he go? He goes up to P4 on a 15.8. So very close to his teammate. Mercedes boys looking reasonably good. Mr. Rage had a bit of a moment out of the last corner, so he's probably just going to drive straight into the pits. Skarma's invalidated on his run. Matoman coming up to turn 5. Got to have somebody a bit further up. Mick is invalidated. A lot of guys coming down this back straight. We get Mikey just come through the compression zone at turn 7 and 8. So we'll stay with Mikey. Oh, he's got a car sitting just at the entrance of the braking zone. That's probably not the best place to be there. But still, he gets into the chicane nicely. Down the back straight, traffic going to play a big part here. We've got a McLaren just pulled over. Pelly doing absolutely brilliant there. He actually recognised that he was coming up to a point where the drivers switch across the track on the line. So got well out of the way and gets a very good exit, does Mikey, with the DRS open, and Mikey goes up to P5 on a 15.6. I think Mikey deserves a mention of Thingway as well. If I was to say if there was a consistent driver of the season award, I think Mikey definitely deserves that. And look at Matoman on the soft compound tyre, up to P2 in the grid, 15.1. I think you're going to see the track come into these guys or some guys maybe try jump to the soft tyre, but I think the pull time is going to be low 14s. Guys, if you're watching, if the headset starts making funny crackle noises, do not be scared to tell me, and I will sort it out. Pedro now on his lap, again, a lot of traffic, and it's a tight little track, as IMOLA, so traffic plays a big part. Oh, and he's going to have traffic here at the compression. Rob Wills gets well out of the way, that's fair play there, Robbie. Got to be careful there as well though, because you can pick up floor damage on the car by running over the big sausage curbs, and oh, he just turned in a bit too much. His entry there for Pedro into that last chicane was actually very good. He's just been maybe a millimetre or so too much on entry, and it's just took the lap off him, but he was pretty much on the line he had to be. SPW on the mediums doing a 16.3. EBG glow stick on a 16.7, both in the medium compound tyre. Game figures of P12 on a 16.9 thus far. F. Lewis has now put himself up to P4 on a 15.3. Rob Wills in P5 on a 15.5. So the grid looking very, very close. F. Lewis on his way back into the pits, I think. We get Pelly on a lap. Mikey ahead as well. Is Mikey on a lap? Yes, I think he is. So both guys on a lap right on each other. So this is interesting. And then Pelly's not on his lap. Pelly's now got out his. I think he realised he's caught some traffic. So let's see where Dixie goes in his medium compound tyre. He's just coming through turns 3 and 4 up to 5. He chooses that open line at the hairpin, which is actually not a bad line to take. I think coming into the apex there is no good. I think you can carry more speed out the corner if you just stay off the apex by, oh, and the rear of the car tries to step away from there, just a bit aggressive on the throttle. ENTXJ gets into the lobby. Jay, if you're watching the stream, you'll need to remember, mate, that you're going to have the time delay in the qualifying, so you will need to retire after you've done a run. I will give you a heads up when the guys are going out in the last run. There's 10 minutes, so you probably get 2 runs in, then you'll need to retire, mate. So add him into the last couple of corners. Good shot from him. Oh, and he goes very wide on the exit curve there. Luckily he didn't get an invalidation. He was definitely across the track. It's going to be a low 17 for Adam on the medium. 17.4. No, you shouldn't glitch the race start, ENTXJ. You've got 9 minutes 40 seconds to get yourself out and get a couple of runs in. Just as long as you retire before these guys' timers has hit 0, you should fall back in line come the race start. Everything should be okay. So you got enough to do 2 runs. Ranger on a lap. I think he's on a hot one here as well. He's trying to find some more time. And he is 7/10 up. Ranger looking to be our first man that's going to come in to the 14s here, and Ranger looking very strong. And Ranger goes on to pole with 14.6. Ranger finding the pace now. Mike not far behind in a 14.7, but that is a cracking lap thus far. Please wait. Oh, I think you better just to close the game up, ENTXJ, and then get another invite, mate. I think that's the smart thing there. Not quite sure what's going on myself, mate, but probably just close up, then reopen, see if you can join, and then yeah, take control that way. So let's see, well, we have some guys on the track. Skarma was not Mr. Jarvis. I don't know where you get your information, sir, but that was certainly not the case. Skarma though has had, I wouldn't say it's been his best season, but he's certainly had some great results. And Skarma's another add-on. Drivers I think doubt themselves a bit much. When they're relaxed and they're not under any pressure and they don't feel stressed, I think their pace shows through a lot more. Pedro improves to P12 on a 16.4. Yeah, I think these are guys that can definitely find a lot more if they just relax in their race and be confident in their ability. I think they worry a lot about messing other people up and they don't want to be the cause of any incidents, but sometimes you just need to wear your heart on your sleeve in racing and go racing. And if somebody comes off in a bad incident, like, as long as you've not cut them up or done it and it's completely stupid, like, incidents happen, it's just part of the sport. So I think if they drove relaxed, you would see a different animal come out. And I have seen the performances in the past. Oh, as I go on board with Mick as he goes round and luckily keeps the car intact. So Mataman is on a lap. Let's see, at the sector 2 split, oh, he's way down, so it's maybe an out lap, or he's rebuilding, or he's going to box and go for one more run. Well, Walker just leaving the pits. What you got in the laps walking, and I know Walker's race pace here is very strong. So Imola's a funny track. Your race pace is strong if you can be in clean air. But if you get caught in a train, it's very hard to break out the train. So tag position I think is huge here. Good stuff here in TXJ. Glad that fixed it. You have, I will just tell you now, if you're listening to the stream, you have 5 minutes 16 seconds. So you can maybe go into a push out lap and just get a feel, then go in, put a fresh set of tyres on and go for one lap in the prime conditions in this session, or you're out on track already. So just shut up, Christopher, let the man do his thing. Where is our Pedro going? Yes, it was a violent accident for sure, but luckily, that's what I'm saying, he's very lucky there. I think because he hit kind of sidecar on, he's luckily not knocked a wheel off. Pedro looking nice and tidy as he comes through turns 8 and the kink at 9 rear the car screaming for grip. Pedro has to do a bit of opposite lock just to keep it in check. Half a tenth up. He only needs to find a couple of tenths through the last couple of corners and he could find himself up close to P12, P11. Get close to that fresh tyre P11 spot. Oh, and he's going to pick up an invalidation there on the entry to the second to last corner, just a bit too eager and turn in. Has a little wobble, so he'll go into the pits. He's got time if he's got another fresh set of tyres to get in and get himself fresh set of boots on and go out on another run. So, all to play for. Still Mr. Pedro. It's Mr. Rage on this will be his last run of the session. Let's stay on board with our P2 in the championship, man, for a hot lap of Imola, and we'll just listen to how he attacks the circuit. Oh, and just on that one, Mr. Rage unfortunately picks up an invalidation on the exit of turn 3. And we spoke about this pre-race as well. It was a corner he says we'll need to keep an eye on. So that was unfortunate. But who do we have on track? Rob Wells, Chris Taps B up ahead. I think he's had a bit of a moment on the exit of turn 2. He's going to get out of the way. Oh, it's Ranger getting out of the way, and that was on his final run. So Ranger's qualifying's over. He will not get another run in, so the battle now is on for pole. I believe, Pelly, if you got another run in, you'll do well here if you can stay out of trouble. You deserve a good race on a Monday night as well. Let this be the one, the last race of the season, I believe. Let's get to that podium, Mr. Belly. So Mr. Rage will go again. He's charged the battery back up and he's going to go for another run. Mike on his way out the pits, this will be for his last run. Mataman still in the box, he's leaving it very, very late to get out for a run. Although 1 minute 50 is probably enough when you ask to leave to get round on a lap. If loose on an out lap. Rob Wills half a second up coming to the line. Did he cost himself any time? He only went to a tenth and a half up. He probably cost himself a little bit of time out the last corner there. Does improve to P8 though, but still a couple of tenths away from kind of Mikey. And then Mikey's kind of in a bit of no man's land here. If Mikey's got a bit of time in the pocket, he'd like to maybe close up to the guys and establish that midfield and bottom of the grid battle. At the moment Mikey's sitting right in between that. He's a couple of tenths for Walker and then Rob Bill's a couple of tenths back, so Mikey could run a very lonely race here if he's not got any more time in the pocket. Skarma retires from the session. I think he's maybe had a moment now, or maybe that's just in the pit. Skarma's had enough for the day. Mr. Rage through the last corner. What kind of time has he got? It's going to be somewhere in the 14s. It's a 14.5 and he puts it on to pole thus far. We've got Mike coming through the last couple of corners, but Mr. Rage puts the car on to pole position. And look at this, the traffic here on the slow lap coming into the pits. Just had to make sure I wasn't crackling their chat. I did not want to have as a moment on the headset. So let's go to Mike. Oh, and that is commitment, but he's going to just get out it there. Oh, Mike, you bold man. F-Lewis, a couple of tenths up. Can Rage put the Chris setup on pole? Do me a bit of justice. But Walker's just opened the lap as well. He's just came across the line. F-Lewis, still a couple of tenths up. Couple of tenths, he could threaten Mike here. If he can find half a tenth through the last couple of corners, F. Lewis can put himself on that second row of the grid. Possibly P3, find a tenth or more through the last corner. It could be P2. Can he put Ranger on threat? Can he get close to Mr. Rage on the front row? Can he go P2? Where is it going to be? It's P3. He gets onto the second row of the grid and dislodges Mike by 2/100ths of a second. We've got Matoman 10th and a half up as well. Where is Walker? So Matoman I think is on next. Oh, Matoman's invalidated his lap. The donkey. That's why he got the award for that donkey. Perley now gets himself to P7, but Walker 3.5 tenths up. Oh, don't run too wide there, Walker. Get away with it. He does. So Walker gets away with it. He was lucky not to pick up an invalidation there. 2 corners to go. He's got to keep it neat and tidy. Find the tension need. Put Rage under pressure out the last, second to last. Now last corner gets all over the curb on the inside. Gets the power down. Absolutely splendid. DRS will pop open. Keep it tight to the barrier. And it's only P3 for Walker, a 14.6. So as it stands at the moment, unless Matoman's not, he's gone into the pits. It's SPW up, no, he's backed out of the lap. So Rage will take pole on a 14.5, but Ranger, the shock of the session there, Ranger P2 on a 14.6. Then we get Walker 3, F. Lewis P4, Mike falls to P5. That big commitment on the last run, but not quite the grip through turn 2. Pulled him wide, gets all over the grass and just had to get out of the lap. It was gone then. Matoman P6. Mikey did not improve. So he sits on that kind of best of the rest table in the P7, 4 tenths adrift for the top 6. Probably more time in the lap though. Perley P8, very close between Perley and Mikey. Rob Wells P9 and Chris Tapp rounds out the top 10. SPW gets the advantage in P11 of course with the new tyre. Glow Sticks P12, Fingers 13, Dixie 14, Pedro 15, Skarma 16, Mick 17, Fusion 18 and ENTXJ P19 possibly picked up a couple of validations on his lap. So just went in SPW now, and for some reason it's not. SPW just needs to retire from the session here, I think. Somebody tell SPW to retire. Yeah, oh, and he's left. So I think SPW's. Yeah, man, I seen that. You were on a nice lap as well, Walker. The pole was definitely there, but hey, top 4 or top 5 separated by a 10th. That makes for an exciting race, right? Look at that qualifying board. They kept their best laps till last. Good stuff, boys. Sets us up for an absolute banger. And Mr. Rage, of course, 6 positions between him and Mikey. So, it's looking good for Mr. Rage in P2 in that championship. And looking very good because the other Alfa Romeo is way down in P16. It's looking very good for Williams and Constructors as well. So, we go into the race. Drivers in form. Expect something from Mikey. I think Mikey will come through. His race pace here is always solid. Walker. The Walker. Oh my god! Oh. We did not see this one coming, guys. We have some wet weather. So, game changer. Oh, that changes everything, boys. Absolutely changes everything. What happens now? So this looks to me like an interstart. I could be wrong, but it doesn't look wet enough quite for the wets. But I think it's going to be an interstart. And if the rain stays, will we see pit stops? Will guys go on the big run and just run the inter tyres all the way at the end? Who knows? Does it dry up? So many variables in play. It looks like the inter tyres for absolutely every day. Let's get some telemetry on the board so we can have an idea. And it is inter tyres for all. So Rage takes us on his, I think, one of his first and last full maps of this season. So the guys need to be very careful now. Imola in the wet is a treacherous circuit, so be smooth, be easy, don't be too aggressive in the first couple of laps. It's going to take your inter tyres a lap or so just to come into the window that they feel good and then go pushing. But good luck. It's your last race, have fun and no bullshit. So the pit stop strategy, you can do this without stopping. If you're brave enough and the rain's not going to stop this to stay like this for the race, you can take the inter tyres for the 32 laps if you dare. Who is bold enough not to stop? Let's see how much of the grid stays in a train as well. Of course, no DRS, so it's going to be on sheer pace. Whoever's got less wing in the car is going to do a lot of overtaking on that main straight. But taking wing out the car and having less wing is going to make it quite tricky to handle in the start of sector 1, the guts of sector 2. So there's some things, definitely some variables in play. Ranger and Rage both in that front row, Walker and F. Lewis on row 2, Mike and Matman row 3, Mikey and Pelly on row 4, Rob Wills and Chris Tips on row 5, SPW and Glowsticks on row 6, Fingers and Dixie on row 7, Pedro and Skarma on row 8, Mick and Fusion in row 9, and ENTXJ all on his lonesome in row 10. The guys will line up, we'll go to the back of the grid and we'll watch ENTXJ file in. Mike had a bit of a moment, I think he maybe spun the car in the formation lap and has Pelly, but the guys will form up. ENTXJ will drop in, so of course I'm only going to be able to really hang on to certain battles here, guys, so we'll stay on the battle with the front. The guys have all filed in, and we'll go to here as we get a view of the back of the grid and the lights coming on. For the last time this season, OTL will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and we are away at Imola, and it seems to be a better start for Rage, but he has a big wheel spin moment, and look at Walker, look at the start. start. Walker has got his absolutely just blitzed through everybody. F. Lewis seems to get himself settled into P3. He's got to be careful. Mike's going to come in that inside line, and Ranger is now going to get squeezed a little bit wide. Ranger's going to push him a little bit, but they get through and the VSC is out, so that's going to neutralise all the position. I think Mike needs to fall in behind Ranger. And what's happened there at the start? Oh, is that going to be a restart there? What has happened there? Did SPW join back the session? Will retake control of his car before the start and then not move on the line? If he's having internet issues, it's probably better. I don't know. So, green lights, we're back to racing. Walker, of course, gets that jump. These guys on the controller, they're going to have a splendid time. We've got Mike and Pelly going side by side. Pelly will go through up to P7 now. Not quite sure exactly what went down, and look at this now, Ranger all over the back of F. Lewis. He's pushing and pushing, ERS being deployed. F. Lewis is defending, so it's going to have to be a big bold send on the inside line. As I say, in the wet, it's not quite there at all. Mike now being tailed by Matoman, who's got Pelly in the queue as well. In fact, we've got a queue almost all the way down to P14. I don't exactly know what's happened to these guys at the back, but yeah, I don't know if SPW has not got off the line there and he's still in the race, no damage, and the guys, because he never moved, have to box from the lines. I think that needs to be looked at. But Walker leads away, 8 tenths up the road. F. Lewis half a second behind Mr. Rage. As the grid now starts to filter out, P1 to P8 all in a queue. P9 and 10's hanging on there just a little bit, but Walker looking very, very comfortable in the conditions for sure. So, anybody here gonna make a lunge? Of course, penalties will start to become an issue as well for guys, so you just want to keep it nice and tidy. We filter through the umbels. There's a nice camera shot. Look at that rain, absolutely driving down. Guys, of course, on inter tiles, and if I look about, I would not expect this weather to change a lot as it stands. I think the guys are going to be driving in this for some time. IMOLA in the wet, what a way to finish the season off. And it's just plateaued a bit, nobody really getting close enough, quite enough to have a good run at somebody out the corner. SPW I think maybe had a moment, or did he pit? Did he now pit? I'm not, I was thinking this, SPW's ended up a lap down. So I was talking nonsense at the start. Yes. I think on Walker says the fastest lap, just when we're talking about the track looking slippy, he looks very, very settled, but Mr. Rage is starting to fall off a bit. I think Walker is in a bit of a league of his own at the moment. The wet weather on Rangers hitting a bit of grass on the entry there, so this is going to cost them a bit of time. Can Mike come for a sneaky run up? Mike's thinking about it, the rain light is on. Oh, and he doesn't quite get close enough to have a go there. Certainly shows Ranger his intent. Get a good exit here and maybe send one down that inside line. Oh, Mike was in a bit of two minds. Taking that wider wet line. Seems to be much comfortabler on that higher line. Still been tailing Waterman, Pelly right there as well. But Mikey and that's starting to fall off a bit. Oh, and if I'd somebody have a moment, it could be our Pedro not enjoying the wet weather at all. Three-second time penalty now for Dixie. TXJ also has one. Matterman picks up his first of the session as well as Walker now 2 seconds ahead. Rage just driving his own race at the moment, I think. F. Lewis starting to fall off just a little bit to Mr. Rage. The train just stays there at the moment. Scarman now picks up a penalty, got a bit of side-by-side action here. Mattelman having a look at Mike. We have a yellow flag up the hill. Pedro is having a horrible time through that chicane. I think he keeps touching the curb and it's just swapping the ends of the car round, so Pedro not having fun at all. Yellow flag, sector 3. Oh, that's just for Pedro getting out of the way, and Walker absolutely nailing it out that chicane there. Mr. Rage definitely starting to check out, so guys have a tough choice now. Do they push on and try and catch up to Mr. Rage? What do you do? Walker with the fastest lap yet again on a 25.2. He's just getting better and better and better as the time goes on. Mikey and Pelly doing a bit of racing. Oh, I think Pelly's had a moment there. That's Pelly spun a bit. So Mikey gets some clean air. Can he catch back onto the train? Train which is being formed by F. Lewis. F. Lewis just falling off the back of the Mr. Rage in P2, who is also fell off the back of Walker, who's just doing his thing. He's lapping probably pretty even, mid to low 25s, and he's doing that consistently every lap. So Walker is chilling, doing his thing. Further back, there is no battles arising. Guys are just kind of stuck in their group. Not much going on. Tyre wear's not going to be an issue anytime soon, so it's just a waiting game to see if anybody can get a better run, a better exit than the driver in front, just to try and mount that bit of a challenge up into the next corner, but it's not looking good at all. I think the drivers are all driving very well in the conditions, and yeah, it's tough. Mikey not quite being able to catch up to the guys in front. We get Kristaps maybe coming for a bit of running. Rob Wills, we'll see here. He's going to hold the inside line, go for the shorter run. That'll gain him a bit of time, then he'll tuck back into the toe. Rob Wills defending off that inside line. Oh, and there's going to be contact there, just a small nudge to Rob Wills for Kristaps saying, oh look sir, I am here. Not quite a move this time around. Yellow flag in sector 3. Is that Skarma at the moment now? I think it might be. TXJ picks up another time penalty. Further down the order, Dixie now started to catch up a little bit to the Mick and Glow Sticks fight up ahead. The two Alpha Tauri boys having a bit of a battle. Rob Wills, Pelly and Kristaps. Now look at this. This is something materialising here. Rob getting hit. Well, that was a touch. I hardly say he was hit there. That was the slightest of nudges.
So, Kristaps, are you thinking of a move? I think he is down into the second to last corner. He's going to go in the inside line, and he is. And oh, Rob Wills is got squeezed out. That was a bit argy-bargy there. I'm unsure. I think Kristaps was entitled to go for that move there. I think Rob Wills still wanted to commit to the same line. But then Kristaps didn't need to stick him out in the gravel on the exit, so we're interested to see their take on that one for sure. Mike setting some purple sectors, so he's feeling pushy. He wants to move on just a little bit. Kristaps has left. Oh, has Kristaps had a connection issue? I think he may just have. So I wonder if that's what's went on. Is Kristaps, when that interchange, are we seeing something that was not meant to be? Bit of desync because Kristaps is now out of the session. So I think he was having some connection issues and maybe not seeing Rob where he was. If that's the case and Kristaps has chose to leave there because he could see that there was lag happening, then kudos a little bit. It's good to see him getting out of the session. EVG glow stick picking up a time penalty. Let's see what's happening further up the grid. Mike pushing on. Absolutely spending the energy. Oh, big snapper. Entry oversteer there. So have to be very careful and keep that in check. So Mike is pushing. Got a yellow flag. That's for absolutely nothing. I think the game's just broken a little bit. Ranger and F. Lewis here though, as we're going to see a big send down into the hairpin. F. Lewis is going to leave a bit of space. He's going to try and tuck it up on the outside, but that wider line through the hairpin, you just get better drive on exit. And that nullifies any move, and yeah, I think we just got a bit of a yellow flag bug in the lobby. That's a bit annoying. So, Ranger looking punchy on F. Lewis. F. Lewis, of course, defending off. He's got a bit of an ERS advantage in 20%, so... Oh, and F. Lewis, is that contact? Was there contact there? I am unsure if there was any contact, or if F. Lewis has lost the rear of the car. That's not good in the fight for the Williams boys. And I wish we could see their damage. Was there contact between the two drivers? Let's see, let's go on the board to Ranger, because that looks a clout. Doesn't appear to have any damage. Is he going to pit? No, he's not. So I'm interested there to see exactly what's happened. Mike now having a good look at Ranger. Mike sees the podium position there. Of course he needs to remember Ranger also has that penalty, but I think Mike's looking for some clean air. I think Mike probably feels his lap times could be much better if he wasn't stuck in a train. 10 laps into the race, it's just stuck there. What's this fight going on further back here? Oh, it's Kristaps being overtaken by the guys in front. We've got Rob Wills and Pelly on a bit of a battle. Rob Wills has got that inside run. Oh, fair play between the two, and look at the cut back there. He's going to give it better drive. Pelly went a bit deep on the gravel, and then he'll lose out a bit to Fusion as well, and he's got glow sticks now all over the back of him. Good driving there for Robbie. Forced the driver into that wider line to line up the cutback on the exit, and that's one way to use the chicane, and I don't think I've actually seen him to use it that way, so different but good to see. Whoa, the oversteer moments guys are having right now is interesting to say the least. Let's look at these gaps. The two Alpha Tauri boys, they're going to have a bit of a battle. They're just going to fall into the back of this Fusion Pelly glow sticks fight. Rob Wills, of course, at the front of that train, managed to get back through, or push through a little bit. Pedro gets a time penalty for multiple warning. That yellow flag bug in Sector 3 is doing my absolute boxing. Nothing happening ahead for now. F loose, found a bit of clean air, of course after being spun round. So he's just going to continue on. Mikey got the gap to Mataman down to 1.5, so he's found 7/10 on Mataman over the last couple of laps. He is slowly starting to reel him back in, as Mataman's just starting to drop off a little bit. He's probably out of the main pull on the toe for the drivers in front, so that'll be hurting him on the back straight and the main straight. So I just wonder if we'll see Mikey slowly creep back up, although as I say that, the gap goes back out to 1.7 seconds. So I think this is an interesting one here. Pedro has a blue flag up just in front of Ranger. This Ranger Mike battle's been going on for 9-10 laps now. Mike just trying to find better exits to get a good run here. Look at this, Mike really having a go at Ranger now. He's going to come to that inside line in this here. I think we'll see the move down the inside. Ranger holds it in the brakes, leaves plenty of space. Oh, and that's a good bit of racing there between the boys. Ranger will stuck back in behind. A bit of wheel banging, but good racing. Ranger will think about coming back up the inside line. Mike, again, being fair, leaving space. Now Ranger on the cutback, he'll get the outside line for the hairpin. Good racing there, boys. Absolute cracking racing. Mike now up to P3. Ranger tucks him behind. Oh, and Mike has a big moment, and Ranger's going to get the run now up the hill. But Mike will just stay ahead. I think Ranger away on. Mike's went deep on the brakes. He's had a big lock up, and Ranger swoops round the outside. Mike now struggling on the exit. Cannot get the pivot down. Mataman, so Mike in one corner. P3 to P5. Mataman up to 4. Ranger back to P3. Yellow flag sector 3, but it's broken. Mike picks up his first penalty for going wide on the exit. Safety car. Oh, and there's... Why is the safety car come out? That's interesting. Debris on track. It must be for debris on track. So, guys will probably pit. Safety cars came at a good time. But oh look, the rain is off, guys. So now what happens? Who's in the pits? Let's see who's in the pits. What tyre do they go? Medium tyres for Pelly. Dixie, fresh set of inters. So Pelly has took the punt to try and get the medium tyre switched on. Skarma also went to the medium tyre, so let's go on board. Oh, and it does not look good. I don't think the track is ready just yet for the soft compound or the slick compound tyres, but this race is about to come alive. It's going to be 18 laps of madness on the dry running tyres because the track is coming back to them. So a leader pits. Now, what do you do? Because you can't, if it's getting dry, you can't do an inter tyre surely. But do you take the risk on the slicks? Walker's going for it. Hard compound tyre for Walker. Interesting call. Mr. Rage stays out. What do you think, chat? What would you do? So where is Mike gone? Mike pit to the hards as well. We have big snap of wheel spin. So what these guys are hoping that have pit to the hards. Yeah, I'm starting to think so as well, Parrot. What these guys are hoping for is that it's not ready for dries just yet, but they're going to come in. Pedro gets disqualified for ignoring a yellow flag. I don't understand what that was. So they just need the slicks to come into a window now and force all these guys in inters to box. Because the inter tyres, they just can't afford to box now in racing conditions. Because unless they get a safety car, they're going to have to find a 20-second gap for taking that pit stop. So the hard tyres are an interesting choice, because the medium tyre will definitely do the 18 laps. So I'm intrigued to why guys have went to the hard, but makes it spicy. See how hard Mike's having to walk the car. It is very slidey. So Mr. Rage, what's his choice? He's going to stay out. Oh, I wish I could hear what Jeff's got to say right now. So it's literally a split of drivers, and Mike's going to box. He's probably going to go for a medium tyre, or is he going to go back to the null? Let's see what Mike's choosing to do here. This should be a medium tyre call, and it is. So Mike now changes to the prime tyre now to get him to the end of the race. So I think that's a smart strategy. He's not going to lose out any track position, I don't think. He'll be close on the thing of Pelly. Let's see how close they are. In fact, I think Pelly will just go through. So Mike will be behind Pelly. P14 only loses one position, so I think going to the mediums or two positions was a smart call there for Mike. And the hard tyre is just not going to switch on in these cold conditions. Oh, and Pelly picks up a time penalty for cutting the corners under safety car. That's an unfortunate one. So at the moment, I don't think the dry tyres are quite there yet. Let's go back to Mike. Oh, you suck. You absolutely suck, Mr. Vickers. I hope you poop out a cactus, you bad man. So some pit stops happening. Oh, is it F. Lewis? Dropped the car, F. Lewis. Oh, and Adams just got a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. Not following the Delta, so I think Rangers to give that position back, or Kristaps is to give the position back, but I think F. Lewis has lost it, and the inter tyres are in. They're in. They now know it's been the wrong choice. The dry conditions have came in, and it's all over. They now hemorrhage all of that position. Fusion and Kristaps, they stay out. These guys are going to be so slow in the restart. They need to box. You cannot not box. Safety car probably goes in this lap. Mike now gets up to P7. Oh, what has happened? So Fusion and Kristaps staying in that inter tyre. They are going to be hard work. Ranger needs to get a good pass. What Walker probably needs to do is bring the inter tyres round onto the main straight, so that they don't need to turn a corner, because then the inter tyre will get them on a straight fine, but the minute they hit the corner they're going to go slow, and hopefully that the inter tyres are ahead of the medium guys into turn 1 and Walker can bridge a gap. I can't unlap this. Yes, Scarman, no mate. You just need to stay in the queue and race from there, mate. It's horrible. It's yeah, it's rough, mate. Safety car in this lap, as I thought it would be. So the track looks dry now as well. It looks very dry. There is no spray at all. So these inter tyres are going to be hell. So I think we watch this for Ranger. I think this is going to be an interesting one. How early is Walker going to go? Is he going to go for the big jump? Make the inter tyres go round these last couple of corners, who will be slow. You tell him, Parrot. You tell him. So yeah, Walker has got away, and look at this. Look at the inter guys. They're going to hold everything up because they've just got no pace and they can't overtake. Walker is going to be so far up the road. He has used his head so wisely. The gap 2.6 seconds over the line. Ranger goes through. Chris Stapps, I think, or did they both pitch? So here we go, we are now racing. So Skarma is in there as a lapped car. Ranger getting all over the grass on the entry into turn 1, so that's going to hurt him a bit. ENTXJ somehow got up to P3 in the race, and his Ferrari. Pelly up to P4, Mike P5. Suddenly the race came alive, with flipped to full grid in his head at the halfway point, onto dry tyres, and nobody will pit again. So it's a straight race to the end. Mike having a big look at Pelly on the inside into turn 4. Not quite there this time around. Let's have a look further back. We've got Pelly all over the back at ENTXJ, 10.5 gap. And these guys are hunting. Absolutely, Pelly has a big moment. That's going to give Mike the run on the inside line, and Pelly will need to yield. Sorry about the camera there, guys. I didn't know exactly what we are. Had to flick. Go watch Fortnite or something. I agree, Pelly. Parrot, that's what you should do. Mr. Rage and Matoman. Mr. Rage having a big dive down the inside up to the chicane, and he gets through. An absolute stellar move there for Mr. Rage. He is now on the hunt for Pelly. What's happening further back? We've got F. Lewis and EVG Glowstick all over the back of SPW Gaming. EVG Glowstick will pull to the racing line. SPW will hang him there on that outside line. He'll get a bit of a squeeze on. Oh, and EVG Glowstick's now all over the gravel, so that gives F. Lewis the opportunity to tuck right in behind. He's going to run out of ERS. Just before the line, SPW defend on the outside. EVG Glowstick gets beside F. Lewis, looking to go up the middle, but it's not quite there. EVG Glowstick's going to get pushed a little bit from behind. He will go through, and F. Lewis still looks on that inside line. Was there any contact between Glowstick and SPW? I don't think there was. And through they go. Solid bit of racing there between the top 3. Now we're having moments. We've got Ranger and Mike going side by side. Yes, they are. Mike's going to go for the run on the outside line. He'll have the inside for the quicker corner. He's going to give Ranger the space, but Ranger will go wide. And what's that? An overtake off track? That's an interesting one there. Mike will stay in behind now, and Mike looking a lot more switched on now the dry weather has came. And Mr. Rage all over the back of Pelly. We're going to see Mr. Rage go for another big send down into the chicane. Not quite there this time around. Mr. Rage, of course, got no penalties as well, so Mr. Rage maybe feels like he can win this race, and all the while, look at the pace of the medium tyre. It is absolutely swallowing up that hard compound. Walker has got a big fight on his hand here. And let's look at this. Ranger now on ENTXJ, DRS enabled for the first time in the race, so that's obviously going to make it a bit easier for people to get through. Ranger thinking about a big move into turn 1, not quite there this time around. He will stay behind, we'll look further down the grid. Mr. Rage and Pelly. Pelly has a big moment. Oh, they just got on board with that. Mr. Rage had to get out a bit. Pelly will defend the inside line, so that's going to continue through another few corners. SPW having a bit of a mare at the back. Don't quite know exactly what's happened there. Mike and Ranger, I was not quite sure. Mike up to P3 though. And he just got to stay in the DRS. But the thing is, ENTXJ is on the back of Walker's DRS now, so Walker could be a bit of a sitting duck here when it comes to overtaking on the straights. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. As they all barrel down the hill into the last couple of corners, we'll get back on board. Where is going to be the best one? Let's watch Mike in the DRS. Is he going to mount a charge to ENTXJ? ENTXJ, of course, has a bit more energy, and of course has DRS also, so I think we might see a bit of a lull for a few laps with Fusion having a bit of a moment further back. It's a yellow flag, sector 2 and 3. Hopefully no safety car. And look at the better run. Mike gets through the first chicane. He's going to come and have a look at ENTXJ down into turn 4 or 3 and 4, but not quite there. Get the better exit on the chicane, maybe look to the inside of the hairpin. Again, not quite close enough this time around. Matterman having a good look at Mr. Rage now, but not quite there. And this yellow flag's going to stop people, and Mr. Rage gets a much better exit. Oh, ENTXJ! ENTXJ has dropped the car. He needs to get it back straight. He can, but ENTXJ is spun round, I'm not quite sure, and Mr. Rage there after Pelly having his moment has went through, but Mr. Rage probably didn't do that so smart there because Pelly's going to come back, and if Pelly just stays behind he gets DRS in the main straight. Mr. Rage has no way to defend. Fusion, if you're watching this stream, mate, you don't need to drive like that. Just keep the tyres straight until they get clean, please. No need to be drifting around the corners while guys are racing. So Walker now being hunted down by Mike. Mike all over the back of him. Mataman gets through Mr. Rage. Mataman. Oh, Mr. Rage just went crazy deep on the brakes there. That was wow. You crazy man. And somebody's had a moment further back. Not sure exactly what's happened there. Oh, and everybody's having moments at turn 7. So here comes Mike on Walker, he'll pull to that inside line, through he goes up to P1, Walker will tuck back in. Walker needs to be careful because Ranger's coming here as well. Walker's going to park the car in the middle of the road, but I think Ranger's going to look to that outside line. Walker defends beautifully on that outside line. Ranger's going to have nowhere to go, he's going to try the cutback, but it's not going to be there. Walker will stay in P2 for now. Yeah, Chris, that it definitely looks sus there, didn't it, mate? It was not... It was strange, it looked like he was doing some drifting there. Walker again defending inside line, putting up a valiant effort on his hard compound tyres. Sorry, I was just fixing the audio. Sorry if there was some crackling there in the headset. Guys watching in. So Ranger hunting the back of Walker. Of course, Mr. Rage, he needs to find a bit of pace. Mr. Rage needs some pace, get himself up the road. He's not got a penalty yet. The race win is still on this for Rage. Walker now unfortunately fell back off a DRS from Mike as well, so I think it's going to be a hard one to hold back here. And Walker dives to the pits, he goes to the pits. So Walker's going to go at the soft tyre, and now he's given himself as much time possible to get something done. Watch Walker be mighty fast on the exit, coming out the pits on that soft. He is going to push like mad. So Mike fully takes control of the lead. Ranger in P2 is going to be one of his finishes of the season, but of course, let's actually have a look at the time penalties. 11 seconds for Ranger. That is hurtful. Mikey is going to bring home a podium as it stands. F. Lewis could still get P4, so it'll be a bit of misery in a couple of moments. Still some very good points for Alfa Romeo coming home. Of course, Williams at this point, they've got the constructors well and truly wrapped up. What's that happening further back? Dixie and Kristaps V having a bit of a ding-dong battle. For some reason yellow flags are following these two guys about the track, I don't understand. So, where have we got some battles going on? Let's see, Mike checking out, Mr. Ray setting the fastest lap, so he's on the push. Let's see Walker, he's on the soft surely, yes he is, and pushing like a madman. Lighting up the sectors. Absolute valiant effort on the hard compound tyre from Walker as well. He tried and he done everything right in terms of using the guys to get the gap. Unfortunately, that medium tyre came into a window so competitively, and Dixie and Kristaps now having another bit of a fight. I think they're just going at it for the remaining laps of the race, at least to get somebody to fight. Greenfinger's going to get a top 10 finish, although he will fall out of that after penalties, but looking very good for the Aston Martin man. Mataman getting another time penalty for multiple warnings, and what happened to Mataman? Did he box? Oh, he did. Mataman pit to the soft compound tyre, that is interesting for sure. So it's plateaued at the front. Can Rob make a run on Mikey for P5? He's the only man with DRS to the guy in front at the moment. We get Dixie and Kristaps having that battle further back. There'll be 7 laps to go. It's went very quiet. Rob gaining on Mikey. It's not going to be this lap round, but I'm sure he will just hang on to the back of him. No worries, Fusion. Just got to be careful when you're coming back onto the track, man. Shouldn't just be smashing the throttle. Nearly could have caused a safety car once or twice. But you were driving very well. Unfortunate, man. And of course, there is always room for you here, because I don't think you were doing any of that deliberately. I think the car was just a bit of a handful. Let's look at this. Ranger getting into the DRS of young Michael. Oh, and Dixie picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warning, and I think he had none, and then he's got like 2 in 1 lap, the big tube. So Ranger pushing on. He's got some absolutely tremendous pace here today, does young Ranger. Yeah, no, I understand, mate. Mike having a bit of a wobble. Ranger tucked right in behind. So Mike probably not fight Ranger. He's probably happy to let Ranger go in front and then just use the DRS. Walker setting the fastest lap of the race. Absolutely charging in on the top 10 now. Oh, and somebody said a moment, who's that? And Walker gets through on EVG glow stick. Oh, and SPW's, he's not had a good time at all. So Mike leads the way. Ranger close behind, glow sticks gets another time penalty. Coming round, just 5 laps to go in OTL's 3rd season, and of course next season OTL and OTL Elite do a split. We will still have OTLs on Monday, but Wednesday nights become HOR. But more to that in a minute, as here comes Ranger to get into the lead of the race. Michael tucked back in behind. And Ranger from qualifying to the race struggled a bit early on, but he showed some tremendous pace today. Oh, and he nearly has a big moment there. But I think if you ever want to have a very good race, the last season is the time to do it. Mr. Rage comfortably up to P. Oh, Mr. Rage is in the win zone. What am I talking about? Mr. Rage is in the win zone. Is he going to do it on his last race of the season? Can he bring it home? Come on, Rage, you got this. You just got to stay with it, guys. Don't get a penalty. Nice and easy. And Williams, can Williams bring home the 1-2 to seal the Constructors' Championship? What a way to finish it would be as well for them. It would be an amazing result. Mike now tucked back into the DRS, he's not pushing on. Well, we see a little burst of ER, and look how powerful the DRS there. No ERS usage at all, and Mike will look to swanter around the outside line. Rage defends it inside. Carries on in front. I don't think Mike's going to push that overtake too much. He's got absolutely no reason to, so Pelly recovered to a solid, what will be top 5 finish. If he can find a little bit more pace and spread that gap out, he could get P4, or even, well, he might be close to be able to get P3, even here. Could Pelly sneak onto the podium? How much pace you got in the tanks, Pelly, for the last couple of laps? The podium is there. So Mike now half a second behind. Coming round to 3 laps to go. Ranger leads the way, of course he's got that 11-second time penalty. Mike in P2 with 3 seconds, Rage half a second behind. Both of these guys, no penalties on the board. So can win the race if he just keeps it neat and stays here. We're about to fall out the window for safety car as well. In fact, we have now fell out the window for safety car. So that's it. We are racing to the flag. So Williams set for that 1-2. It'll be a very good closure to their season. A good way to round out the Constructors' Championship. Mike and Rage. Mike since the switch, of course. I think Pedro needs a mention as well, because he has inputted a lot of points to both Williams and Alfa Romeo, so I think Pedro deserves a mention in that Constructors' title as well. But once they swapped over, Mike really took the charge with Rage. I think some team tactics came well into play. They had some great races together. They used both their paces to their advantage to get what they needed to get out of the races. So tactically they've been superb. Coming on to what will be the penultimate lap, not quite, the lap before the penultimate. Mike's not even going to push it. I think he's going to maybe let Ranger here take the race, take the checkered flag. Or maybe not. He's going to think about it, and it doesn't look like he's pushing it too much. Rangers, oh, big snap oversteer there. And they are pushing on. Ranger gets another time penalty, so that puts him in 14 seconds, and I think that pretty much puts Pelly on the podium. Pelly going to bring home a solid job. He is just out the window. Mikey is close, of course, to getting the podium off both of them. Can he snatch it on? The consistent driver of the season. It's got to be Mr. Mikey, Mr. Consistent. Always get the penalties down. Always banging in the laps, staying out of trouble. Rob Wills picks up a time penalty. He's down there fighting in P6. In fact, that solidifies him to P7 against F. Lewis. Oh no, you're out of the car, the NTXJ, no! Alright, I will your AI on for that top 10, come on, ENTXJ's AI. SPW is retired from the session, I think he's had enough for the day. Mike goes through and Ranger, now, is Mike going to push on a little bit? I'll put Ranger in the dirty air for Mr. Rage to push on through. Ranger probably picks up a warning there. Needs to be very careful. So Mike's gap's not really, I think it shows evidence to the kind of pace Ranger had today. He's really taking it to the big boys in OTL, and yeah, top job from Ranger. Be careful on the exits there, remember you've still got 1 lap to go. Walker gets another time penalty, but he is absolutely marching on. On Mike, he's went round, I don't know what's happened, as Mikey spun the car, and now Walker here, he gets himself back up to P7 on track, which should be a stellar job considering he's done that in 9 laps. He's gained quite a few positions. Ranger now looking at Mike, but he's out of energy. He has no energy. He's going to pull DRS. Still pretty powerful. He'll look to that outside line. Oh, and he sends on the outside. Oh, there's contact. Mike's been spun round. No! And that's probably going to guarantee Pelly onto the podium. Mike just needs to keep it neat and tidy. Oh, maybe not. Mike still be able to finish P3. He's got some hot tyres. You just got to get the car home now. Now Mr. Rage is pushing on Ranger YouTube. They're going to go side by side in the very last lap at Imola. On the outside line. Oh, they've touched, and Mr. Rage is in the wall. They've touched, and it's all went to Calamity. Ranger is let Mr. Rage through. Oh, and now credit where the credit is due there. Credit where credit is due. He has came out it. Fair play to Ranger. There was no malice in that. They were trying to go side by side, get some good racing on the board. But Ranger says, you know what, I'm still going to attack. I gave you the possession back, but doesn't mean I can still fight you down into the last corner. He's all over the grass on the outside line. You've got to be careful there on the brakes. He's all over the back of Mr. Rage. They're going to go over side by side. Oh, Mr. Rage has got damage, and look at Mike. Mike's now side by side. Mr. Rage will take the checker flag on track, but Mr. Rage gets the win. Mike P2, Pelly goes to P3. F. Lewis jumps to the podium. He gets Pelly by a tenth and a half. Pelly drops to P4, Rob Wills 5, Ranger 6, Mikey 7, ENTXJ will bring home that AI, will bring home P8 for ENTXJ. Greenfingers will get P10, a top 10 finish to round out this season. That's a great job. Kristaps close to the P11. Mataman fell way back. Unfortunately for Mataman, he's going to lose out to Walker also. Kristaps will stay out the toe, but Kristaps will hold. Oh, he'll actually lose out to Mataman. Mataman will get P11, Kristaps P12. Dixie looks up to, and Walker's going to bring it home in reverse to round out the season. I think that's how he feels about the hard tyres. This is how he wants to end it. Dixie gets 13, EVG Glowstick brings on P14, Skarma at 16, and Walker to the line in P15. Let's get Mike, Rage and F. Lewis in for a little chit chat, our last chat of the season. Where are they? Of course, I don't think it's even controversy over the last lap, because one, they still finished the same way, and it was the curbs that bumped them in. So Mr. Rage needs an E for F. Lewis. Need to have a drink. Where is F. Lewis? And young Michael. So what a way to finish the OTL season. Of course, that does crown Williams as the Constructors' Champion, and they do that 1-2 in absolute style on the last lap of the race. Some controversy, but credit where credit is due to Ranger. He does give back to the guys. So yeah. So Mr. Rage joins, F. Lewis joins. I'm sure Mike will not be far away. Mr. Rage, we'll just start with you. Better late than never, sir. It's good to see you get that win. It looked as if you were going to just sit a bit on the background a bit and not quite get there, but then you just kind of turned on the pace in the last 10 laps and closed the gap to the leaders. And then of course with them both having penalties, it was just a case of you chill there and not really get involved in too much of a fight, because you knew either way you were going to get the race win. How do you feel?
Happy. It feels like it's been a long time.
And of course,
and it has.
That's the Constructors' Championship as well.
Yes, Constructors for Williams.
Nice way to seal it off in a 1-2.
Yeah.
Of course, we must talk about the controversy that was the last lap. I was just saying before you come in, credit where credit's due. I think there was people just on the last lap, last race of the season, try to go some hard wheel to wheel. Of course, the contact happened, but then Ranger just get out it straight away. He wanted to make sure either ways were racing to the line. I think in the case with Mike's, I think he tried to go around the outside. I think he's went a bit deep on the outside in the brakes, and he's bumped all over the curb. the Lewis
Yeah.
Hamilton Club, we'll call it, and it just kind of punted him into Mike a bit. But Mike, again, recovered very well. Unlucky to Pelly, but still, the race win, take all the controversy out it. It was a up and down race for yourself.
Oh yeah, I totally. I thought I fucked it with the. Oh, apologies.
No, you're
I
good.
thought yeah, that pit stop. I was banking on the safety car coming a bit earlier than what it did, but clearly it didn't.
Because of course
But
the
hey
safety
ho.
car made the call tricky. In the end,
Yeah.
it was the right call to go on to the slick tyres early because they came into the window just on the restart. But
Yeah,
you
they-
still recovered very well, of course. And
Yeah, I think Walker coming out on hard made. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he meant to do that, or if the game just did that themselves. But yeah, him coming out on hard made it a bit of a fair enough. I could actually try and get something here, so I kept pushing.
And I guess it's unfortunate because I think in the rain out and out pace, I think Walker was very comfortable. I
Oh,
think just
yeah.
the tyre choice, I would have liked to have seen how it played out with yourself, Walker and Mike if you all went to the same tyre. I think that could have been really interesting. Because I think Walker hold advantage, but you are all very close in the dry. So, it's a shame, but it is what it is. You got your W in the end. That's all that matters.
Yes, I did.
And,
Oh.
yeah, happy? You got to be happy, of course you're happy.
Oh yes, of course. The last win was Portimao, and I think I had to work for that one as well. Had to work for this one as well.
No, they don't come easy, but you got
They
it.
never come easy.
So very, very, very good job, sir. Very well done on the win. And that constructors title, of course.
Yes, constructors with the help of Pedro and Mike. I have
Yes,
to get Pedro in
I
there.
did mention Pedro on the stream as well. Give him a wee nod of acknowledgement. But good job, Rage. Very well done. We're going to a P2 man that probably, after turn 3 in the last lap, felt that it was all over. Young Mike, are you here, sir?
Yeah.
Controversy in its finest. Again, I kind of explained it with Rage. I think he got a bit adventurous on the outside line into one, especially when you could have done that maybe 4 laps prior and just didn't make that move. But the Cubs bounced him over, knocked him into 8, you've been spun round. Done very well to keep the medium tyres in a window, by the way, in the last few corners, because they would have been cooked. So you finished the race well to not end up in the wall, and still, of course, bring home a P2, which was probably, before that incident, best case scenario anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
I mean, I don't know. I don't have pace around here, but anyway.
The wet seemed to be a bit of a bollock for yourself, Mike.
I don't know. Like, I felt like I had much more pace on Lewis and Rage, but I mean not Rage, Ranger, and I just couldn't get past him. And then when I eventually did get past him, I don't know what happened, but into the downhill and then uphill corner, I don't know what happened, but I felt like I got hit in the back, but I don't think I did. And then into the chicane, Ranger was kind of to my left, so I had to go central, and with ABS you just can't go central in the wet. It just fucking locks the tires, and
Yeah.
I went straight, and then he hit me, and I mean didn't even give me the position back, but anyway.
Yeah, which I didn't understand really why there. I'm not sure, because obviously when it's very, very similar to what happened between him and Rage, and he got out straight away. So I think guilty conscious twice maybe makes you think different, you know. The first time you're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh well, hang maybe the second time. So I mean, it is what it is. It was the last race of the season. I know that's definitely
it doesn't
not the
really
way you
matter
finished.
at the end of the day. It just
Still kudos to Ranger. I think he showed some good grip pace today. Out of nowhere as well. I've never really seen him up there fighting with the guys.
yeah, he's had a
qualifying as
few
well.
good races this year. Obviously he's not up there often, so he maybe just needs to look at how he races up there. But other
Yeah.
than that, it's fine. Like
Because it's more like picking your opportunities rather than just sending every
Sending
opportunity.
it and-
Yeah.
well, we're not going to be backing out. Like the move I made on him was around the outside of the same place he hit me off. So, I mean, 2-1. Maybe he does go, but it didn't on the last lap, so it is what it is.
Yeah. But anyway, P2, Constructors' Championship, wrapped up. That was your, when you done your little switch, that was your drive and focus to get that swallowed up as well. And you've got that, and you've brought it home in a good fashion as well to bring home a 1-2 on the last race. So, a very successful season, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, GG to Lewis and Pedro, and technically GG to Rage and Pedro too. But yeah, it was fun. And then obviously GG to Rage on getting his win today. But I think that's everything.
Thank you. And very well done. Good job on the P2. Young Mike.
Thank you.
And young Ethan, are you here, sir?
Yeah.
A very up and down race for yourself as well. But in the end, you sneak that podium by just a couple of tenths by keeping the penalties down. How do you feel after that one?
That's kind of my signature move now, isn't it?
Yeah.
France, Austria, and OTL Elite, Singapore. Yeah, quite a good move. It works sometimes. But you have to finish the race before you get a podium, and I'll tell you now, I want to have a big props to Alfie because he was my race engineer for that last bit. And there literally wasn't a second where he wasn't telling me what was going on ahead. And at that moment, when he said something happened, I knew I had a chance. So it was more of get your head down. I was on the hards, and I'd been doing earlier today quite a few run-ins in practice on them, and I felt really confident on them, and I'm happy with what I did considering I caught up to Kelly and Rob by at least like 3 seconds on hards, which was pretty good. And I want to say to Rage, yes, I did hit the start. That was me, because I proved myself a bit there. I thought I'd bring damage. Yeah, but overall good race.
Yeah, and I would say that as well. The wet conditions was very hard for anybody to really go racing because it's just not a track where if you're not fully committed beside you can really get a run. So it was quiet that first half, but once the safety car came in and the grid all got muddled up, guys really done some right good strong racing. I never really seen anything that was too out of line either from anybody, to be honest. Maybe Mike's incident with Ranger.
I got spun by Ranger.
Yeah, but again, as Mike says, it's the first time he's really been up there fighting with yourself, so it's maybe just an adjustment thing.
What about Monaco?
On the Monaco. Oh, how do you young kids remember all these things, sir?
They're young,
He hit
Chris,
Mirko,
they've
didn't
got
he?
brains still.
He got what?
He hit Mirko, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that was for a win.
But hey, these things happen. And very well done anyway, Ethan. It's a good way to close out your season. I think maybe when you were sitting a bit more comfortable before you had your spin, I think you maybe felt there was more in that race, but still, a podium, P3. After it was looking like 8 laps to go, I think P3 you'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, just want to congratulate Mike the Snake after leaving us. I had a chance of winning something this season. Snake.
Oh, impressive. What's going on to next season?
More money at Williams.
I'll quote Adam what he said. Oh look, you've got a chance of winning something this season. He said that at the start of the season, so cheers Adam.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Ethan? I agree with you, Mike. You're a snake. Well out of order.
He was
Suck
Irish.
my balls.
Driver of the day. That's one thing I need to wrap up before we go. And it's an interesting one, but if you look at how he fell off and then having to fall all the way back because he took probably the wrong time to change to the dry tyres, I think Mr. Rage is my driver of the day. So, just like that, some more points for himself and some for the Williams.
Snakes.
And that's me for the last time this season. Adam, do you have anything you wish to say, sir?
I mean, I suppose I should thank the guys for turning up each week. Yourself, Jensen, for the banging comms every week. Mainly you, because Jensen doesn't turn up all the time through quality and stuff. But I'm looking forward to next season. Mike can defend his championship. Rage. Maybe some less bottles from him and some more wins, as he's going to be my teammate. But no, just thank you to the guys for turning up, and let's hope everyone has a nice Christmas.
Except Mike.
Except Mike, because he's a snake, yep, agreed. And we go on to Wednesday to finish off Elite, where Chris will get his first win.
I'm not sure about that, but
Definitely.
Yeah.
Chris,
Look,
you
I've said
will.
it all season, you're going to win a race, so this is
will.
the last one, this is the last
Christmas
chance.
miracle.
Chris.
If it is one race, it will be Jeddah.
Yeah.
well, I hope. I can hope.
Oh, I've got you back, don't worry.
If need be, I'll take out Connor and Johnson.
So, that has been OTL for season 3.
Oh.
Oh no, still streaming.
Sorted?
Oh, that's just threw me. What was I saying though? Oh yeah, that's been OTL for season 3. Congratulations one last time to Mike, our season 3 champion. Very, very good job, sir. Congratulations to Mike and Rage and a little bit of Pedro for the Constructors Championship. And just general all-round good job from every single driver. It's been a cracking season. Hopefully next season's even better. And I will be along for the ride once more in the new year. Take care, have a good Christmas, and we'll see you soon.